I'm Max.
And I'm Zona.
And we're the Chatterbox Chicks. Today's topic is the X and Z generation differences, what I like to call the alphabet generations. Although, Zona, what letter is missing from the X? What letter's missing? And then you go to Z.
Why?
I know. Where's
Is
Y?
there a Y generation?
I don't know.
We didn't print a list off of all the that would be... Why didn't we do that?
Do you want to stop and do that? Well, no, because to think about it, before the X generation wasn't that the baby boomers generation?
The baby boomers? Who's the millennials then?
Well, no, it's the X generation, the millennials, and then the Z. So maybe the millennials are the Y.
Why didn't they just say
Hey,
Y
listen,
instead of millennials?
Listen, if you're a millennial and you're watching us, let me know if you're also considered to be the Y generation as well.
And what is the age group for each one? We really did not do our homework. Seriously, because that would be interesting.
But let me tell you why we're doing this today. Get it? Why we're doing this today? It's because Zona and I have children that are in the Z generation.
The Z.
The Z.
Why isn't Z generation for me? Z? Zona?
Yes. It could be. Z.
Okay, so anyways.
Z is the end of the alphabet. So I'm kind of wondering what this next generation is going to be. Do they start back over with A?
Or it could be just a word, because millennials is not...
Could it be a Roman numeral like I?
Why are we worrying about that? Let's talk about the Y, or the X and the Z.
Oh, good idea. Thanks for bringing me back. But I am curious to know.
Please, if you know anything about any of
this
this,
generation,
put it in the comments. Please.
All I know is my kid keeps telling me, my children keep telling me that I am not in their generation, which I know this.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's obvious.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, so the first thing, so we're going to be good today. We're going to try to stay on track.
Yep.
The first thing that we're going to talk about today is work ethic. Work ethic compared to our generation, which is X, and their generation, which is Z. Okay. Now, we're gonna share a story with you. All right. I have a story about two teenagers who
I wonder who they are. Okay, keep going. Two teenagers
who decided they wanted a job so they could make some money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they decided they were just going to have their parents, because they couldn't drive yet, drive over to this place of business, walk in and say that they wanted to be hired together, or not at all.
Yeah. And they expected
to be hired together.
That day to be hired.
Yes. To the point where one of these individuals even thought that they would have a paycheck by the following week and was asking to borrow money and said they would pay back
with his paycheck.
His or her paycheck, or their paycheck, right?
So their expectation of that is just
crazy, right?
It's so skewed.
It's hilarious to me. First of all, I want to say that any youngster that wants to go and get a youngster, gosh, I sound like
you sound like an old lady
woman.
now. Any young
adult or teenager who wants to make some extra money and wants to get a job, I applaud them.
Yes.
But as an X generation person, I will tell you that you have to go in, fill out an application, wait to be called for an interview, go in for an interview dressed accordingly.
I wonder if you have to really dress accordingly.
Well, I had to dress accordingly,
Me too.
and I was going in for a retail job.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to make a good impression. Because I was always told you're supposed to make a good impression.
It is amazing how they just think that
it's just instantaneous.
I knew at that age, I don't know about you, but at these two young adults' age,
yes,
that I would have to go. I would have to get an application, fill it out, and hope that they called me back and to get prepared for the interview.
Yes,
I just
absolutely.
knew that. That was
Yes.
just like it's common sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this generation it's funny. And another thing is, I was just excited to be able to get a job.
Yes.
Because it was giving me some more independence, responsibility.
Some extra
I didn't
money.
even really care about the actual money. Today's generation, all they're worried about is what is the amount of the paycheck.
Well, and then we can talk about how these two young adults decided that they were going to just not only get the job instantly, get to work together instantly, that they would be making about $15 or $16
an hour.
an hour working at a coffee shop.
Yes, a coffee shop or a fast food restaurant.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they're just clueless.
They're like in a fantasy world.
in a fantasy
In
world.
an absolute fantasy world. It's kind of funny. But I really feel, and if we're wrong, and this is just teenagers that we know, and other teenagers have the mentality of the X generation, let us know. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe we are skewed, Zona, thinking that this.
No,
But
I don't
I
think
do
so.
have a feeling that we are on fleek.
Hey, would that be considered entitlement too? Could you lump that under entitlement?
Yes. I definitely think entitlement.
Yeah.
Entitlement is a big word, but I feel like entitlement. Tell me what entitlement means to you.
When you think you deserve something. Like,
Okay.
I mean, that's maybe not correct, but when you, I would say when you think you deserve something and you don't have to do anything
To get
to
it.
deserve it,
Yes.
deserve it.
Yes.
You know?
That things are just handed
They're
to
just
you.
handed to you. There's no.
Yes.
Right.
And yes, you're right, because if someone's going to hand you a job
Yeah.
with your best
They
friend,
actually work together.
then that
Entitlement
is
and
totally
work
entitlement.
ethic.
Yes.
Because
yes.
I mean, I don't know about your young adults, but my son will be, hey, we're going to go to the movie. My friends and I are going to go to the movie. Never thinking about where he's going to get the money to go to the movie.
Yep.
Because it's just going to be given given to him.
Yes.
So are we, as our generation, why are we doing this? Why are we allowing this to happen?
Let me ask you something. Do you think entitlement has substituted the word for spoiled?
Yes.
Is that a new word for spoiled?
Spoiled just sounds, nobody wants to hear it. It's like
Yeah.
a taboo. But entitlement sounds
Yes.
better.
Yes.
But it means the same damn thing.
Absolutely.
It truly does.
It does. Yes.
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 And I would say that I would say my son is spoiled.
Yes.
What about you? Do you think your sons are spoiled?
100%.
Yeah, I think they're spoiled with tangible things, with love, with everything. Not that you shouldn't love your kid too much, but just everything.
Well, a lot of us from the X generation were brought up very differently,
Yes.
and we all, I think, have this mentality, and I think every generation does this, that they want to do more for their kids than what was done for us.
Or just even the empathy and just being more.
There is not a lot of empathy.
I mean,
for
I
the
don't know about
Z
you, but
generation.
during my generation, my mom and dad would literally say on the weekends, "Don't come home until it's dinner time." Literally saying not to come home because they wanted us out of the house. They want us to go do stuff.
But when you're talking about empathy, you're talking about empathy the way the kids have empathy or adults have empathy. Because I don't think there's a lot of empathy in the Z generation. That's what I'm getting. I'm thinking just the way it is. For example, with this cancel culture thing. Right?
Right.
Like they're so quick, they want to make sure everybody is equal and even, that they're so quick that they just want to remove history, taking down the monuments.
I just want to go real quick back to empathy. So you're saying that generation doesn't have as much empathy as
I feel like that, yes.
really, because I think empathy kind of is just part of who you are. Like you're maybe like a personality trait as well.
I thought that, but if you listen sometimes to the way the generation speaks as a
Right.
whole, I don't feel that they're very empathetic.
Okay.
And if you do not agree with me, please let me know. Explain
Or what
why.
you think. Yeah.
Maybe I'm being too judgmental. We talked about this last week, right?
or negative.
yeah, maybe.
I mean, I
but-
can see both ways. I can see it.
You know,
But continue with your cancel culture because I think that is very interesting. The
okay,
cancel culture.
culture. Okay. I'm going to try to explain what I think cancel culture is, and if I am wrong, please let me know. Because like I said, Zona and I, we do not know a lot of things.
Really?
We are first to
But
admit
cancel
it.
culture could mean something to you differently. So it's not that you're
Yes,
wrong.
yes.
But this is what cancel culture means to us.
Cancel culture to me means that you are just trying to cancel culture. So like whatever. That's what it means. Like
So
whatever.
like historically, things
Yeah.
that they just like, no,
Like-
that didn't happen.
Yeah, like the monuments, like they want to be taken down, right? Well, you go to DC, you see these monuments, right? Of these famous people.
Yeah.
They want to take the canceled culture people want to take them down.
Yeah.
I
I mean, that could go into a whole nother topic. Like
absolutely.
With,
But I heard this too. There's a lot of different things. Like for instance, Grease. You know the movie Grease?
Yes.
Love that movie Grease. A lot of this Z generation doesn't like the fact that, and this could also be millennials as well, doesn't like the fact because they say that they exploit sexuality of women.
right.
But it's the time period, you know. That's it's
just-
it's the way things are.
That's how they were.
I think people need to realize that there are certain time periods for each thing.
Right. Just like if we look back at our parents,
Yes.
how it seems so modest and so like, you know, how they dressed and everything.
Like remember how like I don't know about you, but my family was never really open about sex.
Oh my gosh, my mom
It's like
and
a
dad gave
taboo
me a
word.
book.
Yeah.
They gave me a book. It says like all about you. It showed what you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it was like a
there
hush.
was. Yeah.
But
Whereas,
nowadays we're like very open about
Yeah,
sex.
I mean, I
and
explained-
drugs
yes.
and all that because I would rather my
Kid
kids
know.
come to me and tell me what's going
it's
on.
like
than
knowledge
being
is
in the
power
dark.
kind of thing.
Absolutely,
You know.
yes. But
So, what are some other cancel cultures? Monuments.
well, listen what I heard. Listen what I heard.
What?
Okay, so I read yesterday that President Biden wants to take out Dr. Seuss from the Read Across America program.
What's wrong with Dr. Seuss? And this is not political in any ways, because, but what's wrong with Dr. Seuss?
I don't
Doctor,
know.
one fish.
I love green eggs and ham. Sam, I am. Actually, I don't like green eggs and ham.
You better hope your eggs
I don't
aren't
know,
green.
green
If
eggs
they're
and
green,
ham.
you don't want to
Sam,
eat
I
them.
am, or
We
the
won't
cat in the hat,
elaborate on
what's
that because it's not a
I don't-
Biden
we don't-
thing.
we
But that we don't understand.
Yeah,
somebody
and
tell
someone
us.
could please tell us about this
What's
whole Dr.
wrong
Seuss
with
thing.
Dr. Seuss?
Because this is the thing. There's so many different things that are being quote canceled that I can't keep up with them.
Yeah, and why
And
are
I'm
they
not
being
understanding
canceled?
why they're being canceled.
The only thing that I can understand being canceled, if we're referring to anything, are these statues that could possibly, you know, what do you say, like that are offensive to some. But even with that, I would say. When we start taking down things and doing stuff like that,
it's like we're
we
getting
forget.
rid of it. That's why I think it's called cancel culture.
Yeah, and I think that when we forget, then maybe we're more apt to repeat, right?
Exactly.
So,
yes.
but then I understand both sides
But
too.
it's history. It's history.
And history can be ugly.
History can't be erased.
No, well, no, and history's ugly.
I mean, think about it. Even for religious people, we're not going to get totally religious here.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that if you look at your Bibles, if you look at everything is based on violence.
That's
Did you
true.
know that?
It's true.
Everything is based on violence.
Yes.
You can't just take it away and say it didn't happen.
It's not that, and it's not that it's right or wrong or whatever. It's history.
It's history.
And we just can't repeat history.
Right. And we can't really so as to say rewrite history either.
Right. It's almost like
so it's hard. It's very hard because I gotta say that I understand,
Both
the
sides.
reasonings of why.
Yes.
But what I don't get is and my personal opinion,
Right.
and I don't know if I should say this, but I'll go ahead and tell you, I don't think monuments should be taken down. I
don't
think you
either.
can add a monument. Totally, add a monument.
Right.
Add whatever monument you want. I think that's great. If you want to add a monument that reflects the society or the culture that we are
Currently.
in today, absolutely.
Yes.
But don't take away.
And you can't be
monuments.
selective, like with this cancel culture.
Yeah.
It's very selective. Like, we're going to do this and do that. Well, so if we're going to do that, then let's do it for everything.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
that can't be.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so the next on the list, we talked about work ethic and entitlement.
Yes.
Kind of, yeah.
Yes.
And your cancel culture.
And I know we just kind of touched on the whole entitlement
Yes.
thing, but we are curious because Zona and I are pretty fortunate that we
are able
to like do this and stuff. So we want to know out there if you feel as a parent, if you feel your kids are more entitled than you were. Let's do it like that.
Yeah, okay,
Do
but
you
then
feel
we
that
didn't-
your generation, that this generation is more entitled than the X generation?
But we didn't really touch on either, like, our generation. Some of the things when we were young, like, I remember that I didn't want to take the bus to school. My mom's like, we'll figure it out. So I rode my bike to school. Now, I'm just giving an example. If my son said, I don't want to ride the bus and I don't want to take my bike to school,
You drive him.
I would drive him. It wouldn't even just be like, I would just be like, okay, I'll drive you.
Yeah.
When I grew up, it was like, no, figure it out.
Yeah. It was more of a tough
It was
love
a tough
kind of culture.
love, like figure it out. But it was tough too, as far as empathy and love. My parents loved me. I know they did. They say they loved me, and I felt that they loved me. But it's not like today.
Yeah.
I probably
Yes.
overdo it with my son,
Right.
Because I'm overcompensating, like
Yes.
you said,
Yeah, absolutely.
for the things that I didn't.
Yes.
And my son will do that when he has children, if he decides to have a family and children.
Well, will he? You don't know that.
Or maybe
You
he'll
say
make
that.
maybe he'll make a change in the other direction, thinking that I was overly, and maybe in his mind he thinks
Yeah.
It should be
that's
another
the thing.
way.
You don't know. Exactly. You don't know.
no.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yep.
It is. So
Okay.
yeah.
Music.
Music. Oh my gosh. I have already told you guys this. You know this. I am an 80s girl.
80s, always.
Always love 80s. I will tell you that my children have told me, I don't know if they would admit this, but they have told me that they do think that 80s music is where it's at.
It is. I
And
really
they're
don't.
and they're in the Z generation.
And I have to say, if you talk to any generations that are younger than us, you can, in the comments put what you think, but I really think the majority of people think the 80s and early 90s, best music ever.
yes.
Best.
Yes.
Is there any kind of music that your children listen to that surprises you? Besides like the 80s, like is there any kind of genres that they listen to where you're like, oh wow, I never expected that.
My oldest loves jazz music.
Would have never thought that.
I would never have thought that either, but I think it's fantastic, and I'm so proud of the fact
Yes.
that loves jazz music.
Yes.
Absolutely. I think that's great.
My son likes all music except he does not care for country, but he likes, I don't know what you call it, like electric?
But but you don't like country either, do you?
I don't.
Interesting.
What do you think my favorite kind of music is?
I know what your favorite kind of music
Rap.
is. Her favorite kind of music is rap.
I love rap. It is, and you know what? That's another stereotype. You wouldn't look at me.
Well, actually, since I've come to know you, I definitely would know that you would like rap.
but you'd have to know
But
me.
you'd have to know
But
you.
driving a minivan, middle-aged woman, You would
You
look
could
at me
say
and
a
go,
middle-aged white woman.
you would look at me and go, that lady's listening
To
to
rap.
Yeah. She's listening to some Storm Z.
She's
some Six
listening.
Flags.
She's listening to WAP. Do you listen to WAP?
Well,
That song, WAP.
that's whatchamacallit.
Cardi B. Yeah.
No, I don't know. It was okay.
Is that a little bit too much?
Well, it's not too much. I'm just not a big fan of hers.
Yeah.
I like Meek Mill. I like, Jay-Z. I like Six Flags, Storm Z. The list, yeah. And then
Yeah.
I like the old school rap too, like Busta Rhymes and yeah.
What do your kids listen to? Give
Yeah.
us in the comments. Let us know. I'm very curious. What kind of music does your kids listen to?
Yeah, it's interesting. Heavy metal, never into that heavy metal.
Oh, my spouse loves heavy metal.
Like, what is heavy metal? Is it the kind that's like they're screaming and you don't even really know what they're saying?
There is,
Or is it like Ozzy Osbourne? Or is he a screamer?
Well, so heavy metal it can be one of two. Well, heavy metal is screaming music, absolutely. But I guess I shouldn't say that he likes heavy metal. He's a hard rock.
So
and
is
I will tell
AC/DC
you,
hard rock?
Hard rock, yes.
Okay, well
Hard-
then I like AC/DC.
Hard rock nowadays is actually pretty awesome, I have to say, because it has a story to it, like country music does.
Right.
And that is pretty cool.
Yes.
Actually. Yes.
I agree with that.
absolutely. Yes.
So if you guys have any comments
Yes.
or things that you think we missed or that you want to mention about the X and Z generation.
I got to give a couple shout outs before
shout
we
outs.
head
Oh,
out.
I know one of them who you're going to give a shout out to.
I want to give a shout out to thank. We've got a lot of comments about our smelling was the pet peeves, right? Thank you all for your comments about letting us know that if you have a disease, you don't smell.
From the inside.
We have a
dumb.
couple of people who told us that basically you just need to shower more. And I do want to say to does she have her real name on there? I'm not sure.
She's the best teacher
Yes.
in the world, and
She's-
she will know who we're talking about.
We want to say that
Miss N.
Miss N, we really love the fact that you want to sit there and eat tuna on a plane and recline in your seat.
That is everything I would hate.
Thank you for being an wonderful,
But if she was
wonderful subscriber and loyal listener.
Miss N, if you were sitting in front of me and ate tuna and reclined, I think it would be okay. I would let it slide. No, it wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't.
It wouldn't.
She's so lying.
What am I saying? I'm full of shit. It
Also,
wouldn't.
we want to give a thanks out to, she said she was fine with her name, so I'm going to say it. Thanks to Mel, who also told us about a couple of our other pet peeves. She said mine was passive aggressiveness. And
What's mine?
she said that Zoda's was, oh gosh, what was yours?
I don't know because I didn't read the comment.
This, so we
Mel,
can
tell
wrap
us
this up.
again.
Thank you so much for your comments,
Yes.
Mel. You're right about the whole passive aggressiveness. We'll have to talk about that more next time.
Yep.
And as always, we thank you for your love
And
your
support.
comments. Please let your friends know. Keep commenting.
Yes.
Keep subscribing. We love you all. Have a wonderful day. I'm Max.
And I'm Zona.
And